You want to cement your goals into your mind so that there's just no way you could not achieve them, then this may be the episode for you. Sit down, settle in, and let's get started. Hey, Bo Schwade here, the man with the whip, and your podcast host for Powerful Action Principles for Success. The podcast where we don't fool around. No fluff, no filler. We just get right straight to the subject. And today's subject is about goals. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to set goals. There's so much information on that. As a matter of fact, I think there's too much information. I remember when I was young and starting out that I must have read 3 or 4 books just on goal setting and took some audio courses that were 6 to 8 hours long. And now I think, what in the world could make goal setting so complicated that we need 8 hours to explain it? It's pretty simple. You know what you want, write it down, and there you go. Now, before I get started on this, of course, I made an episode about priorities before goals. I would recommend highly that you go back and listen to this before you start writing your goals down. It's basically about how you need to set your priorities so that you do not set goals on low priorities. It must be a high priority or you're not going to do what it takes to get that goal done. You want those priorities to align with your goals. So when the going gets tough, because it is a priority in your life, you'll do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. Otherwise, if you have other priorities that are on top of your goal priorities, you'll never or very seldomly achieve them because you'll have so many other things getting in the way. But with that said, what this podcast is about cementing your goals into your mind, planting them deep into your subconscious so that they become a very part of you. And the way you do that is by imagery. What you want to do is get a pen and paper before, if you haven't set your goals already, and I know a lot of you that are out there listening to this right now have probably got your goals set, and you've got to have them written down. That is imperative. But once you have them all written down, what we're going to do is just focus on one goal at a time. What you're going to do is find images, photos that show that goal in picture form. Now, the reason I just say we're going to take one at a time and take your highest priority goal, and it's usually a long-term goal, the one that you really, really want to achieve or obtain, and it's going to be a rough one. You know it's not going to be an easy one. Get all the images that you can. And an example would be if you have an expensive car that you've always wanted, get images of that car and get more than one angle. Get all types of angles. Get pictures of the interior. And if you can get pictures of what it would feel like sitting in that car, that would even be better. Now, here's the trick to cementing your goals into your subconscious mind. Once you get those images, and I should have said, but I didn't, no more than maybe 4 images, you want to create a collage. You might just make an actual collage by cutting pictures out of a magazine, but most people now with phones and computers, it is really easy to make a collage of 4 photos. Now, I had mentioned the car. What if you want to go on a vacation? You do the same thing. Find photos of the destination that you want to go on. Find 4 good photos. If it's just one, that's okay too. If it's one spectacular photo that when you look at that, it evokes emotion inside of you. You want that photo, like I said, to thrust you emotionally right into the moment as though you were already there. And then what you do every single day. Now, everything almost that I teach is taught around the principle of Kaizen. Small, consistent steps. Consistent being the main word. And also small. Make them small enough that you'll actually do them every single day. And what you're going to do is take each and every one of these photos and take maybe 10, 15 seconds at the most. And as you look at that photo, imagine what it would be like to own that car, what it would be like to be on that vacation. And bring it to the point when you're imagining it that you actually feel the emotion of being right there. And all you have to do this is for 10, 15 seconds per photo. That's it. Don't overdo it. You don't have to sit there and meditate on it and bathe in that emotion. Just evoke that motion. And once you evoke that motion, you can move on to another goal. And you want to do that for as many goals as you want. I wouldn't recommend more than 2 or 3, but just stare at that photo and imagine where you are until you evoke that emotion that you're actually there. And what you'll end up doing is you'll just spend 1 to 2 minutes a day. I mean, we're talking nothing. Just pull that up. Maybe the first thing in the day, you open that up before you start your day. Spend 1 minute. 1 minute on 2 or 3 goals. 10, 15 seconds on each photo or collage. But I like doing it in the evening myself because I love for it to work on my subconscious all night while I'm sleeping, and it will. Because if you do more than that, if you make yourself work at it too hard, which you don't need to do, you won't do it every day. But everybody can do something for 1 or 2 minutes a day. And this might seem silly to you. I know it did to me when I was younger. I'll never forget the first time that I heard this in a goal-setting course. I thought, well, I don't know. That sounds kind of silly to me. But I gave it a try. And guess what? It felt silly to me. And I didn't stick with it. But fortunately for me, later on, I thought, I'm going to give that a try again. Because I began to understand more about how the subconscious mind works. So I did it, and I stuck with it, even though it felt silly. And before I knew it, I began to realize that this was planting that goal into my conscious and subconscious mind. Because studies have shown that memories or thoughts will stick a lot deeper in your mind when they are attached to emotions. And that's why you need to feel that emotion, even if just for a few seconds. You just need to evoke that emotion, and that will plant that into your subconscious much, much more deeply. And if you plant that into your subconscious, make it part of you, it's almost impossible not to achieve that goal because it is so deep into your mind, and it becomes such a priority that you will do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. When things get tough, those emotions will be there. You really won't have to tap them. They will be there if you do this long enough. Now, there's nothing magical about this. It's no magic woo-woo stuff. Not that I'm against woo-woo spiritual things, because I do believe in spiritual powers. But this is not about spiritual. This is science. This is building synapses in your brain and attaching them to emotions, which are making the synapses a lot stronger. You're programming your mind on an emotional level, and that is the best way because we're emotional creatures. We're not as logical as we think we are. So when you can evoke motion, set that to a goal, it's going to be much deeper into your mind. And what you're going to find is that it's going to be powerful. But the key is, remember, keep it short so you have absolutely no reason not to do it. Just tap that visual and those emotions every single day, and powerful things will begin to happen. So until we meet again, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast so that you know when the next one's coming out. I was a little late on this one, but I got her done. And we'll get another one out for you next week. Actually, I'm shooting for 2 next week. So I'll see you then. Love you, mean it. See ya.